I am incredibly sorry. So grab a snack, grab a drink, because we're going to be here a while because apparently I talk. I'm a talker. Who knew? Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Katie, and in today's video I am doing a recent reads. So I didn't do one in December. The last one I did was in October, and if you're new to my channel, what I typically do is I wait until I read like 10-ish books and then talk about them, because there are some months where I just don't read enough to talk about, so I don't do the monthly wrap-ups. So normally I'll just do recent reads like every other month or every 2 months. That's what we're doing today. I will start with the book that I read farthest back, which would be the start of November, and work my way up to my most recent read. I will tell you the star ratings and what I thought of the book in a little synopsis, and they're all spoiler free. So let's just get into the books that I've read recently. Okay, so the first book I'm going to talk about, I have it somewhere. Most of these books were read on Kindle, so I'm just putting up the picture. It is Out of the Gate by Elsie Silver, and this is like 0.5 in the Gold Rush Ranch series. It's basically just a prequel novella talking about the granddad of the hero in book 1. So the granddad's name was Dermot, and he fell in love, of course, with Ada, and they got married, had children, and started up the Gold Rush Ranch. So this book is just a little snippet into their life, kind of how they became a couple, and basically he comes back from the war. Which war? I don't know. Couldn't tell you. But he comes back from the war, and I think it's Ada's family who owns the farm, I'm pretty sure. And he comes back to, I don't think he trains on the, what does he do on the farm? Or on the ranch? I don't even know. But it's just them kind of reconnecting, because like she had a crush on him before he left, but he was older, so they never really, did anything about it. And he comes back and he's like, oh, she's all grown up. And it's just a cute little 100 and so page novella that gives you an idea of the characters in the main series, like their grandparents and who owned the ranch and started the ranch. So what did I end up giving it? I gave it a 4 stars because it's Elsie Silver. And I will always like what she writes, because she writes great stories, great spicy scenes. So it was a good time. The next book that I read was called Second Bite by S.J. Tilley, and this was a holiday novella as well. We're following the heroine, whose name is Alice, and she joins a baking competition. So it's like aired on TV, you get to watch it and everything. And she has had a huge crush on one of the judges named Michael, and it's very insta-lust. Okay, like, just know it's a novella. So like, as much as I hate insta-lust and insta-love, I think it's stupid. But in a novella, I'm okay with it, because it's like a short snippet of time. So you have to get to the insta-love if you want any of the spiciness to happen. So in this case, it's okay. I'm okay with it. But they meet on the baking show, and he just like falls head over heels for her, and vice versa, because she's already had a crush on him from watching him on TV. And it's just about like their little time together, and it was cute. It was to the point. The spiciness was there. I enjoyed it. I ended up giving it 3 stars. So yeah, for what it was a good time. Okay, the next book that I read was Say Yes by Candy Steiner, and I gave this book, was it 5 stars? I did. I shouldn't even have to look. It was by Candy Steiner, so of course I'm giving it 5 stars. I loved this book. This was my second Candy Steiner book of the year that I read, and she didn't let me down. She didn't let me down again. This book is set in the 90s, so it has such 90s vibes. Okay, so I'm an 80s baby, as in the sense I was born in 89. So technically, I grew up, like, as much as I grew up in the 90s, I really grew up, like, in the 2000s era. So, like, the 90s grunge, I missed. But this book just made me think of, like, the 90s grunge, the chokers, the deep lipstick, the flannel, like all the stuff that was 90s when you look back on it that now everyone's wearing again, because it's a cycle. But that's just, it has the vibes. But this book is set in Florence because our heroine is in art school for the summer. And she's trying to prove to her parents that she can succeed as an artist because they want her to come back. And I think what do they want her to do, like accounting or something? It was something that she was just like, I have no interest in. She puts a lot of pressure on herself to be perfect, to do this work that will speak to people, because growing up, she was born with a physical handicap. Her hand, and I can't remember if it's her left or her right hand, didn't fully develop. So like her hand did, but her fingers did not. So she's had to deal with the stares from that, or being called an artist who does such great work with such and such handicap. It can never just be, you know, she's a good artist, but it's because of this that makes her an even better artist. During the summer, she meets this guy in her art class that she automatically is just, I don't like him. She's like, I don't like him. So it's like enemies to lovers in the sense that she is the only one that doesn't like the other person. Like he doesn't, you know, he finds her, you know, he's nice to her, but she's like, no, I don't like him. So it's automatically like enemies to lovers that way, but not reciprocated. But the professor in her class, he's like, you need to experience life. You need to go do something to experience life. So one night she's like, you know what? To her roommate, she's like, I'm just going to go out. I'm going to go out and say yes to everything. And while she's out that night, she meets Liam, who is our hero from her art class, and he helps her have a great night. And she's like, okay, she does what he says, and they have this great night. And then that's kind of how the romance starts. And I loved this book so much. I loved it so much. And it just gave me all the vibes. It gave me Italy vibes. Florence is in Italy, correct? I'm pretty sure it is. And it gave me the 90s vibes. So the whole book was a vibe. The next thing that I read, actually the next couple things I read, because we were getting into Christmas at this point, I read a lot of like holiday novellas. But this one was Hampton Holiday Collection by Abby Millsaps. And this is basically just a little compilation of every character, well, every couple in her Hampton series. So we get 4 novella stories in the book. We get 3 MF relationships and 1 MM relationship. So if you hadn't read the series, the book's not going to make much sense. But if you have, then it will. I mean, I guess you don't have to read the books if you don't want to. If you just want a cute, like, Christmassy thing, but you're not going to know the characters. But if you don't care, then that's fine. But I just enjoyed, like, getting a little snippet of their holidays. It all, like, stories, like, all kind of intersect because they're all friends. So I enjoyed it. It was cute. It was a fast read. And I ended up giving it 5 stars. I almost really liked it. I could not remember, but yeah, I gave it 5 stars. The next book is called On My Merry Way by Indy Sparks. This cover is me in a cover. Okay, so in this book, our heroine's name is Tatum, and she is like Little Miss Christmas. She just speaks and Christmas comes out of her mouth, okay? So that's like, the picture on the cover is like supposed to be her apartment because she does it all pink and all Christmas, and it's just so cute. Well, she gets a text from this person on Christmas Eve, and he's like, I'm on my way, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, sir, I think you have the wrong number because I don't know who you are. Turns out that guy is, again, I don't know his name, Jude. Why can't I remember anybody's name? His name is Jude, and he thought he had texted his ex-girlfriend who he was supposed to meet at this bar. Well, they keep texting while he's on his way to this bar, and come to find out that she actually lives on top of the bar that he's meant to go see his ex-girlfriend. They're like, hey, let's meet up. They meet up. They have this great night together. It's very insta-lust. Again, it's novella. It has to be. But I enjoyed this. I thought this was a great time. Like, this was a great time. She's very quirky, and I know a lot of people don't like that quirkiness, but she was quirky and I liked it. You know, she has like these vampire, it makes no sense if you haven't read the book, but she has like these vampire neighbors that they watch. Craziest thing. Like, but just, I'm getting off the subject. Okay. But cute novella, very spicy. If you enjoy Christmas and you enjoy pink and you enjoy like quirky characters, I think you would enjoy this one. What did I end up giving it? 4. I ended up giving it a 4 stars, but it was highly entertaining. I really did like it. Yeah, I'm laughing because I got to try to explain this book. Okay, the next book that I read was Chaining Daisy by Denton. Okay, so let me see if I can explain this. Okay, so in the beginning of the book, we meet Gunnar, and Gunnar is a surgeon. He is going to grab something to eat. Well, he's at the vending machines and he meets Daisy. Daisy is 18 and she's in the hospital because her mom is battling cancer. And somehow Gunnar thinks, okay, well, I can't, as much as it's like he's smitten with her, okay, like he sees her, he's like, yes, I want her, but I really can't take advantage of her because her mom is sick. So what does he decide to do? The absurdity of this book, just as I'm talking about it, he decides to date Daisy's mother and ends up marrying Daisy's mother. So one, he can make sure that she gets enough treatment, you know, like the best treatment that money can buy, and also so he can be close to Daisy. The absurdity. I don't know why I am the way I am. So we get like a time jump in between when they meet to after her mother has passed, and she is still living at his house. She's, I think, 19 now. And they have a, I don't know, controversial relationship as it is. They're both attracted to each other, but they don't do anything about it until they do. So this is a taboo age gap stepfather romance, okay? And there's daddy kink in here because he likes to be called daddy, even though he kind of is her daddy. It is what it is. This is the first in a series of books all surrounded around Daisy and her friends that you meet in the book. So, I mean, you take it for what it is. It was a time. I'm just gonna put it that. I think, what did I end up giving it? I gave it 3 stars. Not because, I don't know what it was. Like, I couldn't give even more, but I don't know. Maybe just like that kind of taboo-ness is not for me. Maybe it was, I don't know. But it was still a good time. I just couldn't give it more than a 3 star. The next book that I read was A Little Bit Wicked by Melissa Foster, and this is the first book in her Dark Nights at Bayside Motorcycle Club series. I already talked about this a little bit in my last video, but I love this book. I think I gave it a 4 star, but it's not because like I didn't love it, because I loved it. 4 stars is good. So in this book, you're following Justin and Chloe. Justin and Chloe have been friends for a long time, but Chloe is like, I will not date a guy that's in a motorcycle club. I won't do it. So she goes for very clean-cut men because of her past. And the men that her mother brought home, which were a lot of the times, you know, guys from motorcycle clubs, and they weren't the best men. So Justin falls head over heels for her, like dead on, right from the get-go. So it's a he falls first. Somehow they spend a night together and they talk and like they share so many of like their insecurities because they're already friends, you know. And after that, she's like, you know what, let's give it a shot. So they do. And I tell you, this man would give her the world. He would give her the world. And we love that. Like the scene that always sticks out in my head is when she is doing her book club. She has a smutty book club, which we love to see. And she was planning to take the girls to the beach because it was like, I don't know if it was like the book was set on the beach. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. But something happens to where she can't. So she's having it at her house. And as the meeting starts, lo and behold, Justin shows up with all his motorcycle friends. And they bring the beach to her. They have sand. They go and they make it like, they put it on her back patio. So it looks like a little like tiki lounge. It was so cute. Like, I want my own Justin. I want my own Justin. And all the other books after that are all centered around the men in the motorcycle club. So like all the side characters that you get to see all have their own books. The next book that I read was Hide and Peek by Victoria Wilder. I ended up giving this one 4 stars. In this one, we're following Henry and Giselle. So Henry is in New York to visit his sister, and he goes to a bar and meets Giselle, and they have this great night. And she's like, you know, I'm not going to give you my number, but let's meet up the next night. So the next day comes, he goes, she's not there. He goes back to the bar where they met. Well, it's taped off. They said that there was like a robbery, and she did not make it. Okay, you know, pardon my surprise when that happens. We get a time jump, and he is back home in his town, like a small town, but his family is very well known in that town, very affluent in that town, because they do the winter sports. They have like a company that does like the winter sports. So he's just minding his business, getting ready to go to his engagement, little breakfast, lunch, dinner thing, whatever. And his sister brings a new friend. Because that's how a sister is. She's a little quirky. And guess who the new friend is? Oh my God, was it Giselle from New York City? You'd be correct. Okay, so she's still alive. She's just in the witness protection program. And the story takes off from there. I'm not going to tell you anymore. It's so good. I love this so much. And the first book in the series is about the sister. So I have to actually go back and read that one, because you can read them out of order. But I loved this one. Absolutely loved this. So this is like a fake enemies to friends to lovers type, because they have to pretend to hate each other. You read it, you understand. It's so good. Like, it's on KU. Do yourself a favor and read it. There's forced proximity because he has to whisk her away to an island. It's so good. It's so good. The next book that I read was Snowed in Flain by G. Marie, and this was another holiday novella. So in this one, you are following, I have no idea who the characters are in any of my books. It's, okay, we're following Eli and Jade. Okay, so Jade is Eli's personal assistant. He calls her up on her day off, and he's like, hey, I need your help with something. She's like, okay, you know, I'm an overachiever, but I'll do it. And she goes up where in like he lives like on a cabin in a mountain, you know. So she goes, does her work, she's getting ready to leave, and it starts snowing, and she wrecks. So he comes down, gets her, brings her back to the cabin, and they have a night. They have a night and a day, I think. I don't know. They have time. They have time. They have time, and they get together because they realize they both like each other. So that's basically the gist of the novella. I ended up giving it 3 stars because I don't know, it's weird to do novellas as 5 stars because I'm like, it's only like a snippet of time. It's not a full time, it's time. I just don't know why I don't give it a 5 star, but I give it a 3. But it was still good. I still enjoyed it. The next book that I read was The Naughty List by Sarah Kate, and this is another novella. I was on a novella kick, what can I say? We're in December now. And this book we are following, by this point, you know I need my notes. Okay, in this one, you're following Grant and Audrey. So Audrey is home for Christmas, and her mom has married a new guy. Grant is her stepfather's brother. So he's her step-uncle. And they're both lonely and horny at Christmas. So that's what's going to happen. There's forced proximity because there's nowhere for them to go. They're staying at the same house. It's Christmas. Like, it's taboo. Her step-uncle, you know, it is what it is. And I love Sarah Kate's writing, so I enjoyed this one as well. 4 stars. I am giving this one 4. I gave it 4 stars. So I can't give a novella more than 3. The next one I read was The Holiday Season, which was a little anthology. And I think it had like 6 different stories in it by authors. There was Vi Keeland and Penelope Ward. There was Joel E. Ann. There was Pippa Grant, Katie Robert, Melanie Harlow, and Serena Bowen, I think, were all the authors in that one. But it was a good time. I think I gave it 4 stars, and each story was cute, to the point. Christmas stories. I enjoyed that one as well. The next book that I read was Russian Ruin by Catherine Witcher, which is book 1 in this little duology. And in it, you're following Okay, I cannot pronounce this guy's name, so just like trust me that it's how you pronounce it. It's like Edier or Edier. It's Edier. So you take it as what you think it is. And then we're following Ella. And they meet when they're younger. Ella was born in, she is like a cartel princess, okay? So her dad's like a head of the cartel. His brother adopted Edier, I don't know his name, when he was 11. And they have kind of grown up together. Although there is like an age gap. He's 6 years, I think it's like a 6 or 7 year age gap, and he's older. When she's about 13-ish, he's 17, so she's like 11 or 12. She gets diagnosed with lupus, and somehow he thinks it's his fault. You read the book, you know, because there's a little bit of like magical element in the story. So that plays a part in the story, her lupus. But when she's 18, they have a night. He leaves. She never sees him again. Years go by. Now she's in New York City, and so is he. And they just can't keep their hands off each other, pretty much. They're soulmates. They are soulmates, and as much as he doesn't want that to be the case, it is, because he just wants to protect her. But he has very much touch her and die vibes. Very, very much so. So this is his first book in the duology, so it ends in a cliffhanger. Just know if you want to read it. The second book does come out this month, so you don't have a long wait, but you have somewhat of a wait until it comes out. But I really enjoyed this one. I gave it a 4 stars. I will definitely read the next one just because I want to find out. Like, I can't tell you because it's a spoiler. And the last book, holy moly, I talked a lot. That's crazy. Okay, the last book is Balance by Lucia Franco. I finally started the Off Balance series. I'm so proud of myself. Win for me. In this book, you're following Kova and Ariana. And Ariana is a gymnast. She's a very serious gymnast, and she wants to train at the best facility. It just so happens her dad knows Kova, who is a coach, and she ends up going to his gym. And very flexible. Just very flexible. Which is a good thing. But he ends up, okay, so Kova's her coach. Kova's her coach, and so this is like a coach player. I don't know how you say that, like a coach player, sports romance, I don't know. But he is older. He is 32, 31, and she is 16 at the start of this book. So that's what I was a little concerned with. I'm like, that is a big age gap. That is. And he is dating somebody else, so there is cheating involved, which I don't have a problem with. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I don't have a problem with that. But the age gap, I was like, am I going to like it? Am I going to be like, She does turn 17 in the book, but still I'm just like, But, you know, I could get over it because I absolutely love the book. I gave it 4 stars. I'm going to continue with the series. And I can't wait to see what Kova has, you know, next. Because Kova can take me, throw me over his shoulder, bend my knees, bend my legs, bend my elbows. I don't care. He can do whatever he wants because he's just that guy. He can do that. But those are all my recent reads. I know I talked for a very long time, and I'm incredibly sorry. But I wanted you guys to be up to date with what all I've been reading. Let me know down below what you have read recently or what your favorite read has been recently. I would love to know. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you're new and would like to join the family. I would love to have you. All my social media is linked down below as always. My Goodreads and my Instagram if you want to stay more up to date and day to day with my life and what I am doing and reading. But I will see you all in the next one. Bye, guys. And I will probably, no, but they think that she really won't do as well. Because, no, is it, it's been a while. I'm trying to think. And they bring the band, okay. And this is book 2 in the Peaks, oh God, I can't think of the series. The next book that I read was what was it? So it was by Keeland and Penelope Port. Well, and then I read No, I didn't. It's Russian ruin, right? Yeah, okay.